matters of national importance. Yes. On my communication.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to firstly join in wishing our Muslim brothers and sisters a wonderful holy month of Ramadan. Honorable, I also want to appreciate the update you've given to us about the Deputy Speaker. You see, this is a beautiful country. There's a lot of good about our country that we need to tap into. The challenge is that there are also those who are always trying to make sure that a lot more of the bad is out there, and yet there is good about this country. Honorable Speaker, before coming here, I passed by hospital.
Honorable members, first join me in congratulating the Speaker. The deputy.
We did, and we joined in again.
I didn't hear you must congratulate the Deputy Speaker. This is a big achievement for this Parliament. Yes.
Honorable Speaker, we do send our congratulations to the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker, and we shall also reach out to him individually in that regard. Honorable Speaker, I was saying that before I came to the House this afternoon, I passed by hospital to visit a journalist called Miracle Ibra. He's a top television journalist who was brutalized yesterday. His eye was shattered. Yesterday we went for the nomination of my party's candidate, one Arias Luimbazi Nalukola, for the Kawempe North by-election. Honorable Speaker, after the nomination,
Switch on.
Honorable Speaker, the candidate was assaulted, taken away. A couple of people were picked up and others brutalized. This particular journalist was descended onto by men in JAT uniform. JAT is Joint Anti-Terrorist Task Force. These are people who are meant to go out there and deal with terrorists. They descended on this journalist, who was fully branded as a journalist, with his camera, and beat him up with batons, shattered his eye, and broke bones around his face. The doctors are not sure that his eye will see again, whether it will recover. They are struggling to deal with that situation. Honorable Speaker, one, I think government needs to tell us what the exact role of JAT is. I don't know what they're doing in a by-election, but also, what are we doing going after journalists doing their job? The other day, the Right Honorable Prime Minister said that I normally make government look bad. And then she actually used the word that is not in the English dictionary. She said, I'm always dirtying government. But there are things that government does that makes it look dirty on its own, without my help and without anyone's help. I don't even know if the Minister for Information and government generally has reached out to this journalist to establish the goings on and ensure that he gets proper treatment. Honorable Speaker, we have got laws in this country. For the umpteenth time, I want to implore government to follow these laws. If it is keeping law and order, police has got to do that, and again, within the confines of the law. So we would want to understand what is JAT doing, being involved in such a process. Why are they picking up people, beating them up, beating up journalists who are doing their job as a journalist? Their weapon is a camera.
Government.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Right Honorable Prime Minister yesterday but one made a statement when the leader of opposition made a statement here. While what he's saying, we sympathize with the person who has been injured, and also to note that some of these actions are not sanctioned by government, but also it is important, you can imagine now, it's important that when you come on the floor of the House, you come at least with some details so that we know where to start from. Like now, you are claiming that these people who beat this person are members of JAT. How can now government know at this material time whether this was a police person, whether it was a goon, or something else? So it's important, Madam Speaker, that we take, while this house is a place where we should represent our people. While this house is a place we should represent our people.
It is a place of record.
It's a place of record. It's a place of action. You are not going to come and say JAT people or police or military. We don't know, but we shall cross-check what happened.
Honorable Lob, it is very, very unfortunate. It is very, very unfortunate that whatever happened to the gentleman in hospital, that is regrettable. But what we need to find out, because nobody is above the law, what we need to find out, who in particular, because I believe there are other people, there were other journalists who were there. There could be somebody who could have taken a picture of the person who brutalized the patient. Let's have that information, and then we make a follow-up of that information, and we take action. I mean, government cannot sanction and say, go and brutalize so and so. Who is that person to be brutalized?
I appreciate you, Right Honourable Speaker, for that guidance. You see, for us, normally what we require is that government takes swift action against these fellows who operate outside the law. Then people will know you are cracking down. Now, regarding information about all of that, government came to this parliament and was appropriated billions of shillings to put CCTV cameras within town. So I'd expected government, through the Minister of State here, to say, we are going to immediately follow up this matter, because you have got CCTV cameras, as opposed to going on quick defense.
Honorable.
And I can also direct you to the hospital where he is. He's in Zambia Hospital. He's called Miracle Ibra.
Honorable, he who alleges must prove beyond reasonable doubt. You have said it is the government and it is the judge. Please bring. I mean, we must put these people to where they belong. We must hold these people accountable. Because if it is true that these judge people did all this, why would they beat that young man? Why? That is the question we are asking, why? And where did the incidents take place from? Kawempe. Honorable Minister, maybe you need to check it out with the Internal Affairs. If you have the cameras there, we could be able to find out.
Madam Speaker, we shall follow up and action will be taken, because security agencies are supposed to protect the citizens of Uganda, the territorial integrity of the country. So we shall follow up, and certainly we shall visit also the journalist who was injured.
Honorable Minister, please take time off and visit the journalist who was beaten and give us a feedback, and you see how best can be handled. In the public gallery this afternoon, we have student leaders from Bugema University, from Bunanika constituency. Bunanika. That name there. You're most welcome, and they are represented by Honorable Secretary Robert and Honorable Nabukenya Brenda. They are here to witness the proceedings of today. We also have in the public gallery local councillors from Anaka Town Council, that is Nwoya County, Nwoya District. Where are they? the councillors. I can see our councillors there. And they are represented by Honorable Tony Ayo. I mean, Tona Wine. Honorable Tona Wine is right there. Tona Wine, you have a very good leader. And Honorable Chan Judith Pith she's coming. And the people of Luero, you have very, very intelligent people, very intelligent leaders. Brenda is there, and Robert. Bring them back very fast. Yes.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
I'd give Zombo first.
Thank you, Right Honorable. First of all, I want to join the rest of the members to thank and congratulate the Deputy Speaker for assuming that position of the ACP countries. The 79 countries of the ACP, Africa, Caribbean, and Pacific, they were mostly colonized by the European powers. And the 48 in Africa, the 16 in the Caribbean, and the 15 in the Pacific. Now, the Caribbean and the Pacific countries, most of them are small island developing countries, and they have challenges in those small islands. And that means by the Deputy Speaker becoming the chair of that very powerful nation, group of nations, the President, he has a lot of responsibility. We should also address challenges in the small island developing countries. But using that position, I have 3 prayers. Since I said most of these countries were colonized by the European powers. To the European powers, this is the message I think the President should use. One, they should be able, the European powers should be able to address the challenges in these countries. And challenge number 1 is to put a basket fund for infrastructure development in Africa. They don't want us to deal with the Easterners. And then the Northerners, the European powers, should be able to put a basket fund for infrastructure development in Africa. Number 2, they should be able to address the issue of mobility. Many of our people are leaving Africa or the ACP countries going to the north because of the challenges created in the ACP countries. Take, for example, Democratic Republic of Congo. People are fighting for minerals, and some of these companies are coming from the north, and then they come and chase our people, and then some die in the Mediterranean Sea, and then in the European camps where they have put the refugee camps, they are being mistreated. That issue should be addressed. Lastly, favorable terms of trade. I have talked this even in Brussels before. Favorable terms of trade will be very important for these ACP countries to trade with the northerners so that we can, instead of getting high interest loans, we shall now trade with these partners. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and maybe respect for our traditions and the values that we believe in.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
That is one of the things that we want them to respect. They should have respect for what we believe in, our values, our traditions. Yes. And we coexist. We can disagree, but respectfully. Yes, Father.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I join you and my other colleagues in thanking the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker for the opportunity and the grace which he has attained in his career. Right Honorable Speaker, you have a lot on your table. On your plate, you have a lot. And the world and history might judge you if you were not to give opportunity to your deputy, the Right Honorable Speaker. You always give opportunity to members of Parliament to explore their best. And I believe by endorsing the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker, You have done your best. You have reminded us, Right Honorable Speaker, that on Friday, the Muslim brothers and sisters will start their Ramadan period, a moment of repositioning oneself to Allah, the Creator. On Wednesday, the Catholics, the Christians, will also start the Lenten period, a period where the Word of God conscientizes us to mind a lot about human life, human values, and above all, that we must respect human lives. Right Honorable Speaker, it is very, very wrong to pretend to be right when you are wrong. Uganda is bleeding, and everywhere, people are groaning. Instead of being apologetic, we defend what is wrong. When are we going to defend wrong? When are we going to defend right and reject what is wrong? You see, Right Honorable Speaker,
Switch on, switch on.
when we shall begin the Ramadan and the period of Lent, it is incumbent of us leaders. I'm happy that Uganda is now providing leadership to the rest of the world, and we need also to provide leadership to ourselves and to this country. As we enter this period of Ramadan and the Holy Lent, we need actually, one, to be mindful of our actions and to defend human values and rights of one another. Rights do come with obligations and responsibility. It is the responsibility of the government to protect the rights of the citizens of this country. It is my responsibility to protect your right and you also to protect my right. Secondly, it is an obligation also to respect one another. Therefore, we need to respect the law and respect one another and to promote the rights of others. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Father, thank you so much, Father. Though you have not come out very clearly, you've come out. I am not saying you come back. Father, you know, it takes you to the story of Adam and Eve. When when God asked, Father, should I still continue?
Thank you very much.
You know, Father has tasted the world, so don't worry. We shall sort out ourselves. He has tasted the world.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. On Friday in the evening is when we will be looking for the moon. If it's sighted as you rightly said, our calendar begins at sunset. So that will be Ramadan fast. So I join you, Madam Speaker, in wishing Muslims a happy month of Ramadan. And also join you in congratulating former FDC youth, the Honorable
Chairman Youth League.
Yes, the Honorable Right Honorable Thomas Tayebwa for his new responsibility. I was looking at Mama Mimbira there, and I remembered the day she was taken to Zira by this government. Madam Speaker, the point the leader, Right Honorable Leader of Opposition made, I think the minister has answered one leg. First, you called the government. I saw the Honorable Bahat standing. I don't know whether you become government by being here first, that you are the first in Parliament. But the point, Madam Speaker,
there is an order.
We are both FDCs.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I just want, first of all, to congratulate the Deputy Speaker for the achievement and the appointment. On the point of order, my brother, Honorable Samoju.
I want to look at your eyes. You know, you're covering your very beautiful eyes.
Right, Honorable Speaker. My young brother here, Honorable Samoju. Samoju Nganda Haji. Al-Haj is very much aware that I, Beatrice Atimanywa, Mama Mabira, I'm a member of the NRM. I contested, I'm a flag bearer, and I'm a serving minister in the government of the NRM. And he's alluding to his statement that I'm an FDC. Is he in order for him to continue dreaming that I'm still an FDC member when I'm a real NRM?
Honorable members, there's a saying: if you want to know, determine your destiny, forget about the past. Much as the Deputy Speaker was in the Youth League, is in NRM. He's in NRM and is the Deputy Speaker of Parliament of Uganda, endorsed by none other than NRM party. So, having been there, forget my past. Let's look at the future.
Madam Speaker, I will now forget that you are also in FDC. I will forget.
You forget.
Since you have instructed me.
Actually, I have not been, I was there and I left there. I don't regret leaving.
Yeah, Madam Speaker, I take your counsel, I will forget. But the question Honorable Government was answering, the leader of opposition singled out the journalist, but the point he was making was about deployment of JAT, Joint Anti-Terrorism, to deal with issues of election that are not terrorism. That's what you must answer as government. Why must you have joint anti-terrorism? Because, Madam Speaker, we all have videos of a NUP candidate being grabbed, tearing his shirt, beating people who were with him. The journalist was just unlucky that he was severely beaten. But if anyone wants, I have these videos here, we can play them, of jet beating, shooting. That's what governments must answer. Since when did the elections become terrorism? That you must deploy joint anti-terrorism. I thought that the Honorable Bahati, who by arriving early in Parliament has become permanent in the government. Each time they call government, he stands up. And I was about, Madam Speaker, to complain because all the front bench is full of all the junior ministers.
There is an order.
I think we need to take this parliament seriously, and really raise, when we are raising issues, Madam Speaker, because these are issues that affect the people of Uganda, and we find solutions. We don't dramatize them, pick them sarcastically. Madam Speaker is a honorable member, Semju Nganda, in order to assume that when I stand here to speak on behalf of the Prime Minister, I'm just speaking because I came early, that you are not aware that I'm here to represent government is in order.
You know, the problem, we've made this house a house of jokes. As far as I know, I have a written communication delegating Honorable Bahati to be a leader of government business. I have it, and once it is written to me, I don't have to come and announce it to whoever wants to hear. So he's acting as a leader of government business. What matters here is what is being said. The issue of deployment of yachts, which we have said we are going to check. You should check and report back to the House. Okay?
Finally, Madam Speaker, and Bahati, you know, we know each other.
Honorable Bahati.
Honorable Bahati. I am just sympathetic that every day you are the government and every day you come early. I am actually giving you credit.
Honorable Bahati was voted in to come to be in this parliament. If you're not good at timekeeping, don't infect Honorable Bahati. Honorable Bahati is always here and is here earlier than anybody. Okay?
So finally, Madam Speaker, the Deputy Speaker, his elevation gives Uganda a good name, as you have rightly observed. But as the leader of opposition also observed, this Uganda keeps deadening itself. You have had now media managers, MDs, being added to the Uganda Communications Commission. After General Muhoz tweeted that he's now in charge of media, they will see me the following day they are being summoned. The outside is very, very careful.
Honorable Semujo, not Seungo. Seungo is Catholic. Honorable Semujo Ibrahim, can't you ever, for once, finish what you want to present in the House, what you want to deliberate upon, without mentioning a name from the first family?
I can, Madam Speaker, if the first family still being in charge of Uganda.
Are they here for you to discuss about them? If somebody was here, I have no problem with discussing a person who is here. Let's get serious.
Yeah, but Madam Speaker, even the one who is supposed to be here has never stepped here. The Minister for Education, has he ever stepped here?
Okay.
But the point is about the media.
Honorable Minister, I have Honorable Gwang here, who is the Minister of Education, a State Minister of Education and Sports. So stop saying that there is no Minister of Education here. Next item. Yes, Lillian. Lillian.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you for this opportunity. Right, Honorable Speaker, wouldn't it be procedurally right if this House grants Semuju an opportunity to Honorable Semuju grant an opportunity to maybe meet and interact with the members of the first family directly, so that we can spare time of this parliament to discuss other issues?
Honorable members in the public gallery this afternoon, we have a delegation from Okota North County, Sembabule, Maogola, North County, Sembabule District. The delegation is being led by my colleague, the Speaker of the district, the Deputy Speaker, and includes all the speakers and deputy speakers of the 6 counties in Maogola North County. You're most welcome, and they are represented by Honorable Shatis Kutesa Musherure. Shatis, can you just greet your people? Honorable member, my colleagues, the speakers. You have a very good member of parliament.
Thank you so much.
And the other representative is Honorable Bemugisa Mary.
Yes.
But I am telling you, you have gold in that little lady.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to
And Honorable Namuga.
Yes.
Hey, size mate. This is a shadow minister.
Yes. Right Honorable Speaker, thank you for giving me the opportunity to welcome my people to Parliament. Thank you so much for leading this House with distinction. Thank you so much. We are so proud of you, Right Honorable Speaker. I just want to take this opportunity to also remind the House that in 1997, Zimbabwe was carved out of massacre. And all these years, I am proud to say that the NRM government, under the NRM government, the people of Zimbabwe are patriots. They have participated in Pan-Africanism. They have benefited socially and economically. They are reaping the benefits of supporting the NRM government. I pray that we continue in this spirit. Thank you, Madam Right Honorable Speaker. I appreciate you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. On the same note, Brenda, greet your people.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to take this moment to welcome our people from Luel District and also thank the university administration for enabling the young leaders to see what transpires in the National Parliament. We pray that one day you also manage to come here and also pray for us as leaders to better our country and legislate for our country. I also ask you that you continue supporting us, me and Honorable Sechitoleko, to continue representing you in this Parliament and also vote for change and a better Uganda. I thank you.
Honourable member, thank you. Next item.
Item 3 on the order paper.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Madam Speaker, with your indulgence, I want to bring this information to your attention and this House. When the government proposed to us to accept its policy shift of RAPEX, we were assured that all the staff and employees were going to be paid their terminal benefits. Madam Speaker, I have come across many former employees who are now desperate, in anguish, and despondent because they have not been paid their terminal benefits. Their children are not going to school. A few of them have been stressed to the extent that they have undergone stroke. They are sick. And this government had convinced us, and we agreed to that proposal, thinking they were acting in good faith. And the Ministry of Finance is here. Madam Speaker, my prayer is that the Ministry of Finance and government clarifies on how many, whether public service, okay, government represented by the Honorable David Bahati, speaks to this nation on the fate of the employees of the former agencies that were rationalized, that are staying at home without money to go to hospitals, without money to pay their children's school fees, without even food, to the extent that they are falling ill, dropping day by day. Madam Speaker, I beg that this matter is addressed.
Government.
Madam Speaker, the Minister for Public Service presented a paper on Monday updating Cabinet on the progress we are making with RAPEX. How many institutions have been merged fully, the staff that have been compensated, those that have not been compensated, those that were taken over by the new institutions, and we discussed this matter, and I request that the Minister for Public Service comes next week, Madam Speaker, with your permission, to update the House on the progress we are making, the challenges, and the way forward, and the solution to those challenges. I beg to move.
Honorable members, on 29th January 2025, the Honorable Attorney General gave a legal opinion to the Minister of Public Service on severance pay for former staff of the dissolved Uganda National Roads Authority staff. That is one of them. One of them. And I don't know if members have this copy of the legal opinion. However, the opinion, the members, the staff, former staff, are not in agreement with the opinion, and most of them have gone to court over this legal opinion. Because for them, they say they should not be given compensation. That's what the Attorney General says. But what we can do, we wait for a report from Public Service entity by entity. We want entity by entity. Because you said you are ready. You are ready. You brought certificates of financial implications. We agreed and we said, okay, if you want it, have it. And now that you failed to pay these people, we don't want these people to continue suffering. And these people have worked for this country. These people have worked for this country. And what we need is fairness in the whole process. We need fairness in the whole process. Let's have a report on people who have been paid, those who are pending, and what kind of payment are we talking about. Yes, government.
Madam Speaker, we shall bring the report on Tuesday next week, detailing institution by institution. Clarification?
And the process of absorption, there are members who are supposed to be absorbed in the parent ministries. The process of absorption is as chaotic as that of REA. We need that process to be done in a smooth way. You cannot say, because I have been working in this institution, so you should go through public service again. How? I thought you are absorbing me because you've taken over the job that the institution, so I am going to be absorbed in that department in the ministry.
My clarification means as you are allowed. Madam Speaker.
No, I am still communicating.
Madam Speaker, from the report received from the Minister of Public Service, he appears to be on top of the situation. And he raised a number of challenges and also the solutions to those challenges, including those issues that we are talking about, Madam Speaker. So on Tuesday.
On top or under? To the best of our knowledge, is under the station. It's not on top of the station. Because we have so many people out there crying. People are supposed to be absorbed. People are supposed to be paid, those ones whom they think are not. We need a report. Yes, there is information from Odoro.
Thank you, Madam
I'll
Speaker.
give you to speak, don't worry.
Madam Speaker, the Honorable Bahati was in charge of Ministry of Finance. There is a serious ripple effect arising of people suddenly losing their jobs and losing their spending power. One of the reasons why the inflation is going up, it's because people are now home, they cannot spend, they have lost their jobs. And soon, the economy, the minister here, soon this economy is going to suffer because of that. But the major point is, if you come to Parliament, a serious institution, and then explain to us that allow us take this policy shift because we have the money. And then when Parliament has done its part, you go and renegade on that agreement. You go and refuse to pay those people. You make Parliament look unserious. Because we ask this question, some of the agencies, you were even in a hurry. The minister here even suspended some rules and said we are ready to implement as soon as tomorrow. And the money is available. So who has eaten the money meant to pay the terminal benefits of those people? Who? And you are known for being very corrupt. This government, the IGG's report says that, have you eaten the money, the terminal benefits? Have you eaten the money? They should explain that, Madam.
And first of all, it is not about eating the money. It is about absorption of these people. Once you fail to absorb, that's when you pay them the terminal benefits. So let's have a report to that effect on Tuesday.
In addition to that, you see,
Rule 2222.
yes, government did not stop working.
I am referring you to a rule. I have already made a decision. I have already made a directive. So,
but Madam Speaker, it was useful.
Yeah,
because the roads are broken. You work on our roads.
Can you sit? I pity men who like quarreling. I mean.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Atkins.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. First of all, I want to wish our Muslim brothers and sisters a happy month of Ramadan. And number two, Madam Speaker, before I make my point, I want also to join you, Madam Speaker, in congratulating the Deputy Speaker upon that coveted position. And that position, Madam Speaker, has brought out the leadership in you, the real leadership in you. Because who else? I mean, you're the Speaker. Somebody else would have like, okay, a position of chairperson, I want that too. But Madam Speaker, you've demonstrated, and I think that is a challenge for everybody, that this world is about bringing our heads together for a common good. Madam Speaker, I don't know whether it would now serve us a real good to aggregate these compositions that are scattered all over the country, Kasese inclusive, Madam Speaker. 1996, the 8-year camp attacked Kasese municipality, burned the cars and the houses. Madam Speaker, they've never been compensated. Madam Speaker, same community or same Kasese in Kitoru sub-county, 10 L1 leaders were murdered in cold blood in their internal organ thrown in their face for one crime because they were.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker, now I would rather, because compensations are all over the country, including TESO, Madam Speaker, can we have these aggregated and consolidated, brought here, so that we can find money for these people? But the reason why yesterday you did direct the Attorney General to come and give us a full account of what exactly happened with the NOP raid, the commanders that were involved in the raid, who sanctioned the raid, and why surely the raid would occur without the owners of the premises. and then without a court
The
order.
report will be brought, Honorable.
Can we have?
Atkins.
Thank you so
We are
much.
going to have it. Honorable members, I would be unfair to only congratulate my deputy. I also want to congratulate Honorable Enos, who has been made the treasurer of Africa under CPA. Is a treasurer for the whole of Africa under CPA, and you can say something.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Before he comes,
let him say something. Honorable members, Honorable Asimwe has been representing me in the CPA, and I told him I have a lot of work here. The position that was supposed to be mine of a treasurer for the whole of Africa, I had to give it to yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. First and foremost, the other day when I was making the report for that particular conference where I was elected as treasurer, I passed on my gratitude to you and the office of the Speaker for giving us the opportunity to always represent our country and, of course, Parliament on your behalf. Most of the responsibilities we take on for these international committees are entirely delegated responsibilities of the Speaker. So without her support, without her empowerment, certainly we cannot represent you effectively. So I want to thank her. But in particular, Madam Speaker, though I had not communicated earlier, we usually make reports and present them on the floor, but at times we never get a chance to debate them. And the honorable ministers who are policy makers, because the purpose why we represent Parliament in these committees, international committees, is to compare notes, have a pick one or two policies that might have an impact on our societies, or that we might share with our policy makers. But at times when we bring these reports, the policy makers at times do not take them up. I'll give an example of there's a declaration where even Uganda is a signatory on health financing. Something to do with, it was actually made in 2001, where all African countries had passed a resolution that we should, at least 15% of our budget should be going to the health sector. But we failed to meet this, even 10% mark of our budget going to health. And some of the challenges we are having in the health sector is because we did not follow these recommendations. By the time that international, 54 countries sit and make a resolution, certainly they have shared experiences, and I think these experiences can be, if they are passed, they might help us possibly achieve certain issues. So my request to you, through you, Madam Speaker, is to push the front bench that when we bring these reports, or possibly we put a desk, that whenever we bring these reports, they pass them on to the relevant ministries, and they make action taken reports so that we understand that we are not wasting resources meeting every now and then without any impact on our communities. Thank you so much.
I think that's what we are going to do, and make sure that the reports reach the relevant ministries for us to be able to take action. Honourable members, in the public gallery this afternoon, we have students and teachers from St. Mary's College, Namagonga, from Lugas Municipality. Where are you? You're most welcome. You're most welcome and very smart. That is in Buika district. They are represented by Honorable Serubala Stephen and Mutasingwa Diana. So you're most welcome. Join me in receiving them. And the bishop that is going to officiate the Ash Wednesday on Wednesday is from their archdiocese, our diocese of Mukono, Lugazi. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Next, yes.
Timeline to avoid raising this over a time.
Yes, Shadow. Switch on, switch on, switch on.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I had seen the Minister of Environment, but it looks like she has gone out. But since there is the Prime Minister acting, Right Honourable Speaker, Kigezi as a region has serious environmental issues, and those issues relate to the use of wetlands. In the 1940s and 1950s, the colonial government drained a majority of the wetlands and gave them to the people as their lands to grow crops and rear animals for milk purposes because of malnutrition then. Recently, the government has started forcefully evicting people from the lands they have owned since the 40s and 50s without complying with Article 26 of the Constitution, specifically without giving them prior and adequate compensation. We are finding it hard as leaders to advise them otherwise, because the only message we tell them is that the government can only evict them after it has compensated them. But some are already losing their crops and grazing lands because of the fear of forceful eviction. Can we hear from government what it intends to do to the people of Kigezi, particularly in respect of the lands they use and have owned since 1940s to date? If it still wants to restore wetlands, can we have an assurance that we will first compensate them before eviction?
Madam Speaker, this issue was raised partly yesterday, and the government gave a response. At the moment, as you have rightly said, Honorable Nwagaba, these people who have titles in the wetlands and who are using the wetlands in Kavale are doing it, not that they grabbed the wetland, but they went through the process of the government then. Now, there is no eviction, there is no forceful eviction of people from the wetlands. That's assurance we can give you. And also on Monday, His Excellency the President guided that the process of compensation for some of the land or the people owning the wetlands start. And the Attorney General was given instruction and he has started
There's an
the
order.
process. Thank you.
Yes, finished. Yes, Faith.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I also wish to add my voice to the one of Honourable Atkins to thank you for allowing members participate in the international events like that CPA, so that now we are celebrating the election of the Deputy Speaker and for Honourable Enos into those very important positions. Right Honourable Speaker, I also wish to thank you in the same note for the delegation you sent to the Africa Parliamentary Union. And I would wish to announce to this House that we never came empty-handed last year. There are 2 members here who got elected. Honourable Betty Ithona-Luima got elected to the position of Vice President for the Women's Committee for the African Parliamentary Union. We also have the auditor of the Africa Parliamentary Union, the Honorable Remigio Achia, got elected. And this is a position they are serving for 2 years. I want to give you the credit, Right Honorable Speaker, because these members did not nominate themselves to participate, and I want to thank you for the support you've continued to render. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Next item. Thank you.
Item 3 on the order paper. Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee on Public Service and Local Government on the notice of extension of the term of office of Administrative Unit Councils, Local Council 1 and Local Council 2.
Honorable members, as you may recall, on Thursday, 6th February 2025, the Minister of Local Government tabled a notice for the extension of term of office of Administrative Unit Councils, that is LOC 1 and LOC 2s, pursuant to Regulation 12D of the Local Government Councils Regulations. The Speaker referred the instrument to the Sectoral Committee on Public Service and Local Government to scrutinize in accordance with the Section 175(3) of the Local Government Act, Cap 243. This provision of the Act grants Parliament 2 weeks to amend or revoke the statutory instrument, and if no amendment or revocation is affected, the statutory instrument shall be deemed to have been approved. The committee is ready to report on their findings. Please, Chair.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I am here to present the report of the Committee of Public Service and Local Government on the notice of extension of term of office of Administrative Unit Councils, Local Council 1 and Local Council 2. Before I proceed, Right Honorable Speaker, I request to lay on table the report and the minutes of the committee. I beg to lay.
Please lay.
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, on Thursday, 6th February 2025, the Honorable Minister of Local Government laid on table the notice of extension of the term of office of Administrative Unit Councils, Local Council 1 and Local Council 2. The instrument was referred to the Committee on Public Service and Local Government for consideration. Right Honorable Speaker, in order to save time, I request I skip the literature on the background, on methodology. I just go direct on the committee observations and the recommendations. Right Honorable Speaker, on the legal framework, Regulation 12D of the Local Government Council Regulations provides as follows: that the minister, by notice in the Gazette and in the newspaper of national circulation or media with the approval of the Cabinet, may extend, renew, may reinstate, validate a term of office of administrative unit councils from 5 years for further period not exceeding 180 days at a time, notwithstanding that the term may have expired where A, Uganda is at state of war, B, a state of emergency has been declared under the Constitution, C, any district or part of the district has been declared a disturbed area under the Constitution, or D, it has become extremely difficult or impossible to conduct elections for the administrative unit councils. The notice in issue was gazetted under General Notice Number 2827 in the Uganda Gazette and published in the New Vision paper on 18th December 2024.
According to the Minister of Local Government, this was done with the approval of Cabinet and at its meeting of 25th November 2024 under the minute number 397 CT 2024, which approved the extension of the term of office of Administrative Unit Councils, Local Council 1 and 2, from 31st December 2024 for a period not exceeding 180 days. The committee further observed that the current office bearers were elected in 2018, and before that, the country had spent 17 years without elections for Local Council 1 and Local Council 2 leaders. The failure to elect new leaders posed questions of legality of office bearers and the decisions they made. Number 2, the regulations allowed the minister to extend the term of administrative unit councils for a period not exceeding 180 days at a time, leaving room for unlimited extensions which can be subject to abuse. According to the Minister of Local Government, Cabinet directed that the administrative units and women council elections be aligned with the general elections, starting with the 2026 general elections. Observation in number 4, based on the plan to align the administrative unit and women council elections with the 2026 general elections, the Minister of Local Government would be required to issue 2 more extensions in line with the regulation 12D of the Local Government Council regulations. It is important to note that by 2026, the country will have spent 8 years without elections for the Local Council 1 and Local Council 2 leadership. Observation number 5, the alignment of administrative units and women council elections with the general elections will help to reduce costs, improve voter turnout, and the morale of all stakeholders in the election process. Number 6, local councils are the grassroots for service delivery and are the first line of contact for citizens. They handle crucial issues of citizenship, family matters, land transactions, security, administration, governance, and supervision and enforcement of government programs like parish development model and many other functions on behalf of government and their people. Failure to prioritize local council structures undermines such duties. The extension of the term of office and failure to conduct the election of administrative unit councils has an impact on the citizenry. It affects voters who have the right to choose leaders in regular, free and fair elections. According to the Constitution, in addition, political leaders who are fatigued and have lost interest to serve or have lost popularity among the voters still continue to hold the office. According to the Electoral Commission, observation number 8, according to the Electoral Commission, the elections will cost 52 billion 166 million for administrative units, while women councils or committee elections will require 45 billion 86 million, giving a total of 97 billion 252 million. However, if conducted simultaneously as part of the 2026 general elections, only 56 billion 134 million will be required for both, thereby reducing the cost by 39 billion 118 million. Right Honorable Speaker, if the elections of LOC 1s and women councils, if they are to be done together with the general elections, the country will save 39 billion. According to the Minister of Local Government, the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development was directed to provide the resources needed to enable the Electoral Commission to conduct elections of LOC1 and LOC2 and women councils during the 2026 general elections. On a serious note, Right Honorable Speaker, as we are carrying out this report, despite several invitations to the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to provide critical information to the committee to enable it effectively accomplish the task assigned to the ministry, the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development has continuously failed to honor our invitations. The committee recommendations. The committee recommends that, given Cabinet's directive to align the elections of administrative units and women councils with the general elections, with effect from the next general elections of 2026, the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development should commit and avail the necessary funds for these processes. Recommendation number 2, the Electoral Commission should update its 2026 general election roadmap in line with the Cabinet directive. Recommendation number 3, since the extensions of term of office of the administrative unit councils have been purely due to the inability of the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to provide the necessary funds, and the fact that they disregarded the committee's invitation, the Minister of Finance should assure this August House that this time around they comply with the directive of Cabinet and the recommendations of this committee. In conclusion, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I beg to submit.
Thank you so much, Chair. Thank you. Yes, Linda.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the chairperson for the good report, and also to support the recommendation that ministry should commit funds for election of LOC1. Madam Speaker, as ministry is planning to commit funds for the election, I would like to implore ministry also to commit enough money to facilitate the LOC1 chairpersons. LOC1 chairpersons are entitled to get their ex gratia. Madam Speaker, I want to inform you that the ex gratia they're supposed to get up to now, they don't get all the money. They're still getting piecemeals. They're entitled to get 120 every year. But if I give an example of LOC1s in my city, up to today they don't get that money. And Madam Speaker, as Parliament, since we are now in the budgeting process, we should plan to increase the ex gratia for the chairpersons LOC1. Because as we have seen, they are doing very great work. They are the ones who handle most of the cases. These are LOC1s who are not trained. We should also plan, as we elect them, to train LOC1s so that they are able to handle court matters very well at their level. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Yes, Madam Speaker.
Matchbox.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to support the committee recommendation. However, Right Honorable Speaker, in most cases, the executive of LOC1 chairpersons, when we have meetings, they always complain that we only cater, the government only caters for LOC1 chairpersons. In an event where there are no LOC1 chairpersons, it's them to take over the offices. So the question has always been, we have the LOC1s, how about the executives? This is the question they have always been asking us. Right Honorable Speaker, government should have a proper planning. The question should be, did we appropriate money to run the elections for all these lower councils, 1, 2, and the women council? If we do not have, and then this is the right time to appropriate the monies in this budget that is coming. And then secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, last Right Honorable Speaker, I think we should borrow a leaf from other countries, like Kenya. We should be able to have elections of LC1 up to president. Let it be conducted in one day, such that we save funds. Thank you, Right Honorable
That's
Speaker.
why you're starting with the presidential, parliamentary, coming down up to LOC1. That is the suggestion of the committee.
Thank you.
Mawawi. Wakraj. Then Max.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity. I joined the rest of the colleagues to appreciate the reports from the Committee on Local Government and Public Service. Right Honorable Speaker, what came out very clearly, it is when the committee summoned, requested the Minister of Finance to appear before the committee to answer some questions. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm not a member of that committee. Right Honorable Speaker, we want to hear from
Honorable Okrash.
Yes, Right
You're a
Honorable Speaker.
member of the committee.
No, Right Honorable Speaker. I'm not a member of that committee.
Okay.
I left. Right Honorable Speaker, we want to know from the Minister of Finance as to why they failed to appear before the committee to support the committee's report in regards to their line ministries. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, in my district we have some villages which are newly created. And we have members of the local council one with their executives fully fledged who are doing the acting positions. We would want to hear from the Ministry of Local Government. What are the plans for those acting LC1s in the newly created villages in our districts?
Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Minister, the LOC1s are complaining the bicycles you gave them are worn out, they don't have means of transport, and they are saying that instead of having bicycles, they should also graduate it to a motorcycle. That's what I was told in Amuru when I went to Amuru of recent. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, and I thank the member for the concern about the LOC1s who are in acting positions. The regulations say in the middle of the term, we don't conduct elections. And in the first place, some of these villages are not coded and they have no instrument created by the Ministry of Local Government. Last week, I corrected the 2 villages in my constituency where Electoral Commission went to ease the voting, to ease the distance, and alphabetically cautioned the directed the members of my villages from letter A to H. They created a polling post, a polling station. But the members there were rejoicing, when are we holding elections? So such a circumstances where Electoral Commission created polling posts to ease the election, and our members went ahead and created their own villages. Those villages are not known by the Ministry of Local Government. They are not coded and forwarded to the Ministry of Finance for funding, and that is the problem. Then I really take your passion, Right Honorable Speaker, that at the moment the bicycles are really outdated. And it's our plea that when government's pocket increases, praying that the oil turns into reality, they should graduate from bicycles to motorcycles. And I want to thank the President everywhere he goes these days. He appreciates the LOC1 and leaves them with a bicycle, which is a sign that is the hope where we are going. And I wish we could get there.
Madam Speaker.
Yes.
Madam Speaker,
Max.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. And I want to thank, first of all, the committee chairperson for giving us a comprehensive report. And I want to fully associate myself with the recommendations therein. Madam Speaker, allow me lean very heavily on this committee report and raise a concern as a vox populi of the people of West Budama North constituency. regarding the long-serving LC1 chairpersons. Madam Speaker, here in Uganda, there are some LC1 chairpersons who have been serving in that capacity since 1986. First as members of the ad hoc committee, which ad hoc committee was renamed in 1987 as the Resistance Council. They continued serving up to 1994. In 1995, the Resistance Council was christened the local council.
What is the problem with serving for long?
No, they are saying that they have contributed enormously.
Why don't they leave if they feel they've been there for long? Because so many other people also want those seats.
No, just because the re-election has not been taking place as originally as possible.
It is just now that the elections have not taken place. Honorable members, what I thought you would talk about is the pay, increment of their pay, the ex gratia, their movement, the bicycles or motorcycles or whichever. That's what you'd be talking about.
This is what I want to say.
Madam Speaker.
And those ones who feel they have been there for too long. Free entry, free exit.
Madam, point is that, Madam Speaker,
yes,
their point is that they have contributed enormously to the dividends of the democratic governance that we have in Uganda today.
Everybody has contributed. Everybody has contributed. Let the money be given to these people. Whether you've contributed for 100 years or 2 years, let the money be given to these people.
Madam Speaker.
Yes, Anifa.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the Chair and the committee for the report. Mine is about the increment of the salary to the LCs. Currently, they are given 10,000 shillings per month, but my opinion is let them increase to at least 50,000 per month. Yeah, that is my submission. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Brenda. Fortunate.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the Chair of the committee for the statement. And Right Honorable Speaker, I am in support for increasing the LC allowances. And also one critical thing, I realized that actually the extensions were about to, not because government didn't have money, Right Honorable Speaker, but according to his report, the Chair's report, they wanted to align these elections with the general elections. And by doing this, you disenfranchise those who wanted to stand for the LC positions. And that is not okay, Right Honorable Speaker. We need to have a good plan as a country, because if you say we will extend, you don't come to Parliament to say that we want to align, but we want to extend because there's no money, then you're lying to each and every person. That was in the report, actually. So, Madam Speaker, the ministry should be able to plan for elections now that they are recommending that they come in when we are
the
having
ministry has brought an extension. It has been gazetted. It is brought for us.
But Right Honorable Speaker, there's also a limit to extensions according to the constitution. You can't be like extending all the time. It shows that the government
does not have a limit. It does not have a limit.
But Madam Speaker, it still disenfranchises those who want to stand, and it is not okay.
Actually, we have delayed to discuss this paper. The 2 weeks from the time it was presented here have passed, so it is deemed approved. So let's talk about the welfare of our people, because those LOCs are our voters. Yes,
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I would wish to add my voice on the issue of the welfare for LC1 chairpersons. Honestly speaking, in this economy, Madam Speaker, you cannot survive on 10,000 shillings even for a day. So it's quite absurd that LC1 chairpersons, who are actually the first unit of governance in our country, are paid only 10,000 shillings. And actually, in most places, this money doesn't even come on time. We have so many areas. So my proposal is that as we budget, we should budget for increment of the salary to cater for the welfare of this. Even 50,000 is little, because in this economy, members of parliament are earning how much? Look, LC chairpersons, yes, including of myself, then LC1 chairpersons should don't be selfish. Members. They should also be paid a
honorable
good salary.
Members.
Thank you, Speaker.
Honorable members. Honorable members. Honorable members. Why don't you want your salary to be talked about? The honorable member is right. She says, let's increase the pay for LOC ones. Just as we are comfortable with ours, let them also get comfort somewhere. Yes, Alan?
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Hey.
I also support the motion for this resolution. But also, Madam Speaker, in my area, we have had more than 40 LC1s dead. And this has left a huge vacancy because of failing to conduct such elections. So the ministry should find out means of replacing these chairpersons who have lost their lives, because it is endangering our areas and people have nowhere to go to. Sometimes the vice chairman who was left there had no mandate of the whole village because he was just appointed by the chairperson as per your regulations. These people are not voted for. Madam Speaker, that is the case in my area. About the welfare, it is thought about by people that the LOC ones earn from this stamp. They have a stamp, Madam Speaker, if you don't know, which stamp the government are given so much power that for everything to go on, you have to get an LOC1 stamp in your letter. Whether registration for what, application for jobs and what. So some LOCs have used this stamp very profitably, and when you enter that office of the LOC1 chairman, for one stamp like this, 10,000 shillings in some areas. If you calculate by 30 visitors of that village per day, that is 300,000 times 1 month, that is 9 million. So that is happening in villages. But Madam, who don't misuse that stamp, we would wish them to be added on about their welfare to about 200,000 shillings per village. I think that is not so much because we have so many RCCs, deputy RCCs, assistant RCCs, and all those earn amounts of money, and yet they are not there in the Constitution of Uganda. Thank you.
Man.
Right, Honourable Speaker, I want to thank you. And I want to thank the chair of the committee for the report. Right, Honourable Speaker, as you are aware, my mother, who is making 70 now, is LOC1 chairperson of her village. Now, the neighboring village, almost members of that executive died. Almost all in the neighboring village. So what is happening is that people from the neighboring village come to my mother, who is the LOC1 chairperson, for services of the other village. And the problem, this one is asking me of which party, but she was RC, then became, and she has this disease. I keep telling her, when are you leaving? And she says, when Museveni leaves. So but that's her problem. That's our problem. But the point I am making, Right Honourable Speaker, is that the failure to fill this void has created such challenges. Actually, keep telling her you are going to be challenged. You cannot be acting in 2 villages. He says, what do I do? People are coming to my village to get services of stamps. So it's really a very big challenge that we must take very seriously. The fact that there is a void, and this scenario is not limited to what I am talking about. I know it's everywhere. Right on, Speaker, it also goes to the issue of welfare. On the welfare, I don't know what criteria our colleagues in the central government used to set it at 10,000. I don't know the criteria. I therefore support the idea of enhancing the welfare of these LOCs.
Especially the one of your mother.
Right on, Speaker, in principle, I support the idea of enhancing the welfare of these LOCs. But even more fundamentally, right on, Speaker, this 10,000 does not even come on time. I am sure colleagues here have been approached by these LOCs demanding and asking when their money.
There's a procedural matter.
Right Honourable Speaker, the item that has been called item 3 is a motion for adoption of the report of the Committee of Public Service and Local Government on the notice of extension of term of office. Madam Speaker, this is a very specific motion that is not a generalized motion. And the trend of the debate is that we have now ventured into discussing the welfare of political leaders, which is still okay. Wouldn't it be procedurally right that at an appropriate time, a separate motion is brought to deal with the welfare of all political leaders? And we first dispose of the item we have at hand, and then we can discuss others, Madam Speaker.
Honourable members, I now put a question that the House approves the extension of the term of office of administrative unit councils, Local Council 1 and Local Council 2, pursuant to Section 175(3) of the Local Government Act, Cap 243, and Regulation 12D of the Local Government Council's Regulations. Those in favor say aye, and the contrary nay. The ayes have it. Next.
Item. Prayer through Madam Speaker, the Ministry. The Minister of Local Government stated here that some villages are not coded, and the extension is coming, as it has been passed. But can we get a record of LOCs? Because there are those who died. How are we extending their term when they are in the graves? And then those villages which are not coded, so that we get clear records of those we are extending in this motion. Otherwise, many LOCs have passed on, and we are extending leaders. But we need the information, Madam Speaker. Yeah, but could we get the coded villages in the country? Give us that information. Let's be laid on. No, I'm on procedure. So, Madam Speaker, we need to know who are those LOCs who are being extended. Because really, you extend for even the dead ones. And we continue with that. Ghosts. So, Madam Speaker, I am seeing members who are happy finding extension of dead people as LOC chairpersons. And it's very interesting. From Mr. Chairman, kindly address that, Madam Minister. Madam Speaker, that was my prayer. Can I repeat it? Madam Speaker, my prayer was asking the Minister of Local Government to give us names of villages which are coded. And then, as we extend, there are some LOC chairpersons bearing office who passed on. And we are making extension of LOC leaders who are in graves. If we get all this information, it's very vital to know who have been extended and the villages, because it's important. Otherwise, we cannot
Those
allow...
LOC, the LOCs who are in graves, there are some acting people. The vice chair.
But they are not legitimate by law. They are not legitimate.
Next item.
Item 4 on the order paper. Bill second reading. The Human Assisted Reproductive Technology Bill 2023.
Honorable members, we read this bill yesterday. It was the sponsor was supposed to move a motion. However, government asked for a day for them to be able to harmonize. I don't know if it has been harmonized, but I want to just make a reminder to government that government, when you look at Article 94, 4B of the Constitution, a private member has a right to bring a private member's bill, and I will not be seen to be the one to negate from that. Most of the bills that we have had, that we are proud of, that we've successfully passed in this House, that increases our number as a big number of bills passed are out of private members. So here is a private member with a private member's bill. Over to you, government.
Madam Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to make a comment on this particular item on the order paper. We do recognize the rights of the private member and also the importance of this human-assisted reproductive technology bill, which has been discussed by the committee, and want to appreciate the contribution of the private member in moving this important bill. On the side of government, we feel strongly that there are some elements in this bill that there are some other issues related to reproductive health that need to be included in this bill. So we are proposing, Madam Speaker, I was appreciating the private member in moving this human-assisted reproductive technology, and given the importance of this bill on our population, there are some other elements that would want to include in this bill to make it more comprehensive. And on behalf of the Prime Minister and the Minister of Health, we are requesting for additional
There's
time.
an order.
Right, Honorable Speaker, with due respect to government, we were here yesterday with the Minister of Health, my good friend who is sick. They committed to come back today. And even the Attorney General, they told us they are coming today to have the bill discussed, Right, Honorable Speaker. Right, Honorable Speaker, we are here spending taxpayers' money in processing of these bills. Yesterday, my good friend, the Attorney General, showed unpreparedness. And when the colleague was submitting about how he was unprepared, he used the word that was unfriendly. And we all said, okay, we drop it. But I mean, you are moving us to the same direction. Right, Honorable Speaker, when is government going to become serious and respect taxpayers and this parliament as, I mean, we are using taxpayers' money. This process has been handled for the last 3 months, handling a process. You've been part of this. Government has been part. There is no bill that is processed without the presence of government. Is my colleague, Honorable Bahati, dressed in a yellow tie in order to come and continue confusing this House? Right, Honorable Speaker, is he in order?
Thank you so much. You know, You know, they are of the same size. So, no, but she raises a pertinent issue. You answer the issue, leave alone the tie. But yes.
Chair, Madam Speaker, and honorable colleagues.
There is a procedural matter.
Right, Honorable Speaker, making a law is a process. It starts with a bill. And if the acting Prime Minister says there is government interest where they will need to improve or to amend, so if they never came in the committee and we have already passed the bill, there is nothing that will stop government from amending the act if it has passed. So wouldn't it be procedurally right that we proceed and at an appropriate time government brings its interests or its amendments when the bill is passed? I thank you.
Honorable members, first of all, in the case of Honorable Dur versus, I remember Tajukwatako, that you cannot smuggle an amendment on the floor. I still remember that case in Mbale. So, even if there is a problem with this law, government will not bring in amendment on the floor. All what they can do is to the report has already been signed. I don't know.
Madam Speaker, and through you to the Prime Minister, I think we pray, make our work easy here. Sincerely, bringing a bill for the second reading, and then the Attorney General comes in to seek for audience to hold the bill, yet we are coming with a report that has already been signed by members. Makes us look funny. And we beseech, we request you, you make our work hard, and you also give our Speaker a lot of difficulty in processing her work during the House. Because this is a bill that has gone through the committees, or the Committee of Parliament, where you were invited and attended physically. If you are not invited, then there's a challenge on the chair leadership of the committee. But I would pray, Madam Speaker, as sitting in for the rope, that let us have this occurrence once and for all, but such a behavior should not continue. Because as experienced legislators, you know what is meant by second reading of the bill. It is not signed by members.
Honorable members, the Prime Minister has something to say, but at the same time, I also don't want the ministers to put the Prime Minister in a very awkward position. A minister should not do this.
That Honorable Speaker and honorable members, you are aware Honorable Kawoya is sick. And the Minister of Health, now I know it is not. Honorable Mohanga is with the President in Ankole. Yes. And Honorable Jenna Cheng is handling a very delicate. And so, I know why they are not here. Right, Honorable Speaker, this bill is the motion for the bill to be on committee stage is not yet moved. And there is a precedence in this House, in the 6th Parliament, when Honorable Katuntu's bill on access to information was taken over by government. I want you to remember that Honorable Sarah Opendi was a minister in the Ministry of Health. We have been battling with this bill. We have been making a lot of adjustments. So I was of the view that, Right Honorable Speaker, you allow me to coordinate the ministers and the sponsor and the mover of the bill, so that we can come here with an harmonized position. Yes.
Honorable Asumani.
Right Honourable Speaker, I want to thank you. First of all, as we observed yesterday, it takes a lot of effort for a private member to process a bill. It takes a lot of effort. Number two, Right Honourable Speaker, there is no bill that is referred to a committee and the government is not given the first priority to make presentations. It is not there. The chairpersons and clerks of these committees are under instructions to give the first opportunity or invitation to the Attorney General and the line ministers. And I am very sure even in this case, the Attorney General and line ministers were invited and consulted. Finally, Right Honourable Speaker, it is also not true that at this stage, the executive cannot make amendments. What do our rules say, the position of the law? Amendments at this stage are allowed on two conditions. Number one, if they were not given an opportunity to present the amendments. Number two, if the opportunity was accorded and the committee rejected their proposals, then in that case, the rules allow amendments to be made here. So in that case, Right Honourable Speaker, I want to beseech you and seek your indulgence that you allow Parliament to proceed with this bill the way it is. If there are any amendments proposed, let's handle them on the floor, but not let it be seen to be frustrating private members who commit a lot of time and effort to fill the void which otherwise should have been made by government. Right Honourable Speaker, I beseech you that we proceed.
Honourable members.
Right Honourable Speaker and honourable members, it is government that is going to implement this bill. And it is government that is requesting for time. Give us just 2 weeks.
There's no, honourable members, 2 weeks. Honourable members, giving 2 weeks is not a problem.
What do you want to do?
I don't think that is a big problem. For one reason, the report is already signed, the report is uploaded, the report is ready for a debate. So if amendments, if you're going to reconcile yourselves on who moves it in the House, that is okay. The 2 weeks, Honourable Prime Minister, is not a problem. No, we've agreed. No, I don't want you to thank her. I don't want you to thank the Prime Minister. Prime Minister, today I've refused because I know it is an attack. Honourable members, in 2 weeks' time, this bill will come back on the floor. And Honourable Prime Minister, help us not to go against the Constitution. Because these members have powers to bring a private member's bill. Please. Thank you.
Item 5.
Prime Minister's time.
Item 5 on the order paper. Statement by the Right Honourable Prime Minister on government business for the succeeding week.
Honourable Prime Minister.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker, for the wise ruling. Right Honourable Speaker and honourable members, I move under Rule 26 of our Rules of Procedure to submit government business for the week of 4th to 6th March 2025. 1. There will be a submission of the ministerial policy statements by the ministers as required of Section 1313 of the Public Finance Management Act 2015 and Rule 146 of the Rules of Procedures of Parliament of Uganda. Right Honourable Speaker and honourable members, Number 2, we shall get a statement by the Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development on the commemoration of the International Women's Day. Number 3, a statement by the Ministers of Gender, Labour and Social Development on the progress of the joint program of youth livelihood and women entrepreneurship in the country. I beg to submit.
Thank you, Prime Minister.
Item 6 on the order paper, Prime Minister's time.
Honorable Prime Minister.
Honorable Speaker, somebody was complaining of time, but we have always coordinated. I usually donate my time for business in the house.
Actually, you're even too early today.
Honorable Speaker and honorable members, we received a question from Honorable Dr. Barimwezo Ronald Nsubuga, the MP for Nakawa East constituency. And he states that during this year's budget debate,